Hello, everyone. How are you doing? How are you doing today? I hope you're well. I hope you're having an amazing day. I am Dr. Tammy, your success strategist and literacy educator. I help purpose driven leaders move in the direction of more and prepare for what's next. And today we are talking about reap more, reap more. I get my good copy, my other copy is kind of bit. We're talking about Reap More and the 76 seeds for this season. And today I have Elegant Granny back with me today for us to talk about seeds 1 through 47. So if you're reading with us, we're reading one seed a day and we're reflecting. We're taking just 10 or 15 minutes to reflect on those. And let me just tell you, I think, it was Ellie and Granny who and Nina Motivates who said, look, we should do this. When I started asking from the community what we should do, I have a global online reading community that you are all invited to join us in reading. And we read different things, but typically it's nonfiction. And we decided to read Reap More for the first 76 days of this year, 2021. And I cannot tell you, like I always say, so seed number 2 is a quote that I think is what has been just really resonating with me right now. The encouragement you give is oftentimes the encouragement you seek. And I can't tell you like how much this book has been the encouragement I've been needing. It's been an interesting week, 2 weeks. If only we had time to talk about it. I'm sure some of it will come up in our conversation today. You'll be like, whoo, girlfriend. So it's been an interesting 2 weeks, but I found that I've been having to go to the seeds. So I want to start today's discussion with seed number 13, and I want to read that. But before I do, I want you to share. I want you to make sure that you tag someone in the comments who could use some encouragement. It's an interesting time, and I tell you, it's an interesting week for me. And so if you know someone in your life who's having some challenges, then invite them into the space for a little inspiration and encouragement, and maybe something we share today will inspire them to keep going, keep pressing on their journey. So listen, if you haven't shared it out, share it, and make sure that you say hello in the comments. So share and comment. Say hello. It could be an emoji. It could be anything. Just let me know you're here so I can see you. I appreciate you being here. So I'm going to bring in Elegant Granny, who's a part of my Women Aspiring for More community and the Catalyst for Change Global Reading community. And she's going to help me talk about a few of these seeds. She's going to do a few of them. So you can definitely grab the book and get the book. You can get it on my website. You can get it on Amazon. There's also the ebook that's available on Amazon or online distributors. There is multiple. I say Amazon, but you can any online distributor. So if you're in another country and you need to get it, you can get the book wherever you are on whatever online platform you use to order your books. So I'm going to bring her in so she can introduce herself, and we're just going to dive in, and we're going to start with number 13. So if you have the book, get number 13 ready. That's what we're starting. That's where we're starting today. And that's me talking to me. Oh my goodness. Hello, Elegant Granny.
Hi, hey.
How are you doing today? Thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome. I love coming in and discussing books. One of my favorite things.
I know that's why when I start putting the call out, you're always the first one to respond. So thank you so much for joining me and sharing with me. And then others are in the comments. Well, we were there, we were but I want you to come on live. But people are afraid to come on live. So thank you for being so willing to come and share your thoughts because I think it feels kind of vain for me to discuss my own book by myself. So all the time because I do some live readings. I do live readings so people can kind of just hear just for encouragement as a way to just start a topic, but to just say, hey, this is where our community is doing, and it's just me. It's better to have someone from our actual community. So thank you so much. So
Yeah.
if you would you introduce yourself and then of course tell folks how they can connect with you, and we'll just dive right in right after that. How about that? Is that okay?
Okay.
All right, good deal. Go. Oops.
And I am Elegant Granny, your favorite granny. I am restoration strategist and your creator and host of the podcast Proactive Eye. On the podcast, there is discussion of intimate partner violence known as domestic violence. We also talk about child abuse, sexual violence and sexual assault, and also suicide prevention as it relates to abuse. A lot of people don't think about suicide prevention as it relates to abuse, but it happens a lot more than we are willing to admit. As restoration strategist, I support victims of domestic violence and survivors transition from a life of abuse to a healthier lifestyle. And there are different things that needs to transpire as that happens. One of the first things is their mindset. Another thing is dealing with exactly what it is they need and not what others think they need, but exactly what they say they need to help them move forward in life. And then in addition, what I also do is supply resources for those who support them, their friends, their family, their co-workers, who want to be able to successfully help them transition from a state of toxicity to a state of wholesomeness. So that's what Elegant Granny does. And you can find me anywhere on through my link tree. And the link tree, you can she'll usually have it on the banner as we're talking, and you can find it through Elegant Granny on my link tree. And there it is.
Awesome. Awesome. Oh my goodness. So, okay. So let's just dive right in. I'm going to share number 13, and we're going to start there. So, oh my goodness, let's start there for today. Okay. So, number 13, and we're reading from REAPMORE 76 Seeds for this season, whatever season you're in. And I'm going to read number 13. Surrender to the moment. When you are shifting or experiencing change, focus on the here and now. Know you are about to go to the next level. Stop resisting change. 4, go with the flow. Create space for flow in the moment. How are you creating stability at this moment in time? How are you making your space secure? Are you ready and willing to grow? Are you ready for a fresh start? Y'all, surrender to the moment. I'm going to just tell you right now, the last 2 days have been a challenge for me as far as surrender to the moment. So I've just had to go back to that and just breathe, breathe, breathe. Now, there's another one that talks about pausing. We probably want to talk about that one today, but the same thing. I just had to surrender to the moment. You know, yesterday things were just kind of moving, nonstop until, well, probably all evening until like 10, 11 o'clock at night. And when I say moving, like typically I'm at the computer doing stuff. No, I mean like physically on the go. And some of the things I needed to do on the computer, I just didn't, it just wasn't enough time to get it all done. So I found myself getting a bit frustrated with what was going on in my day. And I really just had to say, you know, Dr. Tammy, actually I say Tammy, girl, I've been talking to myself. I say, you know, just stop, pause, and breathe. Like it's going to be okay. And if it's not, it's not. Like there's some things that you just can't control. There's just something you just can't force. And I really had to just really what this says, go with the flow. And that's what I did all day. Create space for flow in the moment. And that's what I did. I just finally just said, okay, I'm just going to stop. I'm going to do this. And I'm just going to, this is what I'm doing for this 45 minutes, this hour. Let me just do that and focus on that. And that's what I ended up having to do. But it was a crazy day. Crazy day. And I thought today was going to be the same in just a moment ago before Elegant Granny and I got on, but it worked. But I figured it out. Like it was just in that moment, I had to just say, breathe, girlfriend. You got this. When you're going to the next level, not everything is going to happen smoothly. So you just got to breathe. And so I think about this when we're talking about purpose and living out our purpose and doing things on purpose and just making sure things are in alignment, that when we're moving to that next level, when we are in the midst of a transition or we're experiencing change, that sometimes we just got to go with it. Because especially right now, I haven't, and I know we've talked about this probably for the last 2 or 3 weeks. I think this keeps coming up every week on this broadcast, is how I've been in this space where I don't know what's next. And the reason I don't know what's next is because I'm planning some things, right? Y'all know, anybody who follow me know I'm a planner. So I plan things out like strategically, like I'm going to do this then. I'm going to do this when, right? And I do that. But there's also other things happening right now. Like there are some things that are coming that are unexpected that I'm having to put into what I'm planning. Y'all know what that works when you do your own plan, but we'll get into that later. But what I'm planning, when I'm realizing that there's other things that are happening that's working in my favor. Like it's not bad. It's just I'm having to adjust, and it's this constantly adjustment period. And I'm realizing just got to surrender to the moment. Like when you're leveling up, when you're going to the next level, it happens. It happens. So I know some of you are in here. Thank you so much for coming in. Hey, Siobhan. Yes. Breathe. Just breathe. That's what I had to tell myself. The girl, just
Hey,
breathe.
Siobhan.
Just breathe. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my goodness. So, Elegant Granny, you have anything to add to help
Yes, I
me?
do.
Help me.
Yes, I do.
I think about that song. What is it? Oh, the movie. Oh, I think it's a Tyler Perry movie. But the wine is singing. I need you to help me. I can't think of that song. I'm not gonna sing it. I'm not gonna sing it live, y'all. Y'all just know better. I'm not gonna sing it live. But I just think of that. I need you to help me.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Oh, Lord, I want you to help me.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
she
it.
wore
So
that
that's
song out. Taraji wore it out. She did. She did. But
yes.
one of the things I would like to add, well, the main thing I would like to add, how just surrendering to the moment is so important. Sometimes we don't realize we're moving too fast. And
Yes.
one of the things that I can relate to
Guilty.
this is, how as you're traveling in different neighborhoods or on the highway, how every now and then you'll see a sign that says speed limit 35, speed limit 15, speed limit 55 or 75. Sometimes you're going too fast, and next thing you hear, whoop, whoop, you
Yep.
know, letting you know, hey, you need to slow down, depending on, how much over you were going. You may get a ticket, you may get a warning, you may get a slap on the wrist, you may have to show up in court, depends on the severity of, how fast you're going.
Right.
Anyway, sometimes I think life does the same way with us. We can go too fast. And the reason why we don't realize we're going too fast, because some of the things that can happen if we move too fast, sometimes what we're working towards can flop.
Right.
Sometimes the things that we were purposed to do to service others, we could cause it to actually harm them and not help them. That's something that I had to think about in one of my moments when I had to surrender to the moment. I had to think about the work that I do. If I don't slow down and pace myself and stay within the limits of that speed, I could actually harm people as opposed to hurting, helping them.
That's a great analogy, and but I'm not. I'm not going to self-disclose how I treat those speed limits. So we're just going to keep going. I've been running fast these last 2 days, so I guess I need to slow down. But yes, so surrender to the moment. That's seed number 13 from Reap More. And when you are shifting and experiencing change, focus on the here and now. Two, know you are about to go to the next level. Three, stop resisting change.
Mhm.
Four, go with the flow. Create space for flow in the moment. Trust the process. Allow the moment to guide you. Surrender all. Okay, elegant granny. All right, so let's check out another one. What's another seed that we can talk about today?
um, let me see. The one, where it go? Is one that kind of piggybacks off of a couple more. I'm gonna start with
Okay.
45.
Okay.
And 45 says the seed is if you are always in the shade, you never experience the sun. If you're always in the shade, you never experience the sun. So while in the shade, take advantage of spending time with you. This is what I want to say because the seed before that says when someone throws shade, shine sun back.
Yeah.
And so when the shade happens, and sometimes when people throw shade, sometimes it is a moment for you to surrender to that moment,
Yeah.
not always put up your defenses and clap back. Sometimes it is a moment for us to put on our big girl panties or our big man panties and surrender to that moment and think about exactly what is being said
Right.
and why it's being said. Think about the course of activities that took place before what was said or done was said or done. And so this is the reason why I want to talk about this because we don't spend enough time with ourselves. We don't, and like Dr. Tammy always stresses the importance of self-awareness. And I always stress the same thing, but I always talk about how important it is to spend time with you because if you don't spend time with yourself, you won't understand why you feel the need to always clap back when someone says or does something and you find it offensive because not all the time does something deserve a response. Some things
Yeah.
it's necessary to just let it be. So here's what I want to talk about: the power of self-awareness. This is where this come from. Okay, the power of self. I wrote these things down. Let me put my glasses on so I can
She's
see real
ready
good.
for us today.
Um,
I love it.
so there's with self-awareness, you also have your self-esteem, your self-worth, and your self-concept. You have to know the importance of each parts of these areas within you so you can raise your frequency and not feel the need to respond to everything. Every time someone comes online and say something that you doesn't mean it was, you have to go back to it. Or sometimes if someone says something without calling names, doesn't necessarily mean they were talking about you. They could have been talking about something in general. And it actually stomped your toe because it could have related to you, but that doesn't mean they were actually talking about you. So one of the things that can help you from doing that and feeling the need to always be there for your self-awareness, this is helping us when you be more self-aware. It's helping you master your emotions.
Yeah.
The only way you're going to be able to do that is spend time with you. Understand what makes you angry, what makes you happy, what makes you sad, mad, what makes you excited, what makes you depressed. You need to know all of this. So when outer forces do come into your inner space, you can appropriately handle them. Because like I said, a lot of times we respond defensively, and a lot of times a lot of things that people say and do have nothing to do with us. Actually, they're just speaking in general. Another thing, self-esteem, how we feel about ourselves. You're not going to know that until you spend some time with yourself. And a lot of times, some of us do know that we don't want to spend time with ourselves because we don't feel good about ourselves. This is the moment to think about, if you're not comfortable talking to other people who are close to you, who are your friends, who will really tell you the truth, they love you and they want you to be better, seek professional help. There's nothing wrong with seeking professional help. Another thing is your self-worth. That is the value we place on ourselves. You're not going to know that if you don't spend time with yourself, because what someone else tells you, that may be the price tag that they put on you. But what is the price tag that you have put on yourself? If you don't spend enough time with yourself, you're not going to know that, because you'll be going around showing everybody $100 tag, when that tag, if you spent time with yourself, may need to be saying $1 million. Spend time with you. The last thing is self-concept. That's a relation of what we do and what we are, who we are committed to being. There are things that we are doing in our lives right now that we have become, but there are other things that we have, goals that we are working towards. What are you committed to becoming? Are you committed to becoming a person who always want to have a clap back every time somebody says something that's offensive? Or would you prefer to have something that's going to keep you in the realm of peace? I choose peace. And the reason why I choose peace is because I don't want to have to deal with, because I'm older, especially because I'm older, I don't want to have to deal with all the other physiological changes that comes with being outside the realm of peace. Because the more you keep wanting to clap back and get back at people, whether they actually said or did something to you, or they were generalizing something and you took it as an offense. A lot of people be so angry and hold on to stuff like that, and it raises your blood pressure. It increases the production of your cells, which causes cancer. It's a lot of things that happens with that. So spend time with you. Raise your level of self-awareness. You are important. That's the reason why for this. If you always in the shade, you never experience the sun. When you spend time with yourself, when you come out in the sun, you are willing to do whatever it takes to remain there. You don't want anything else to interrupt.
Oh, that's awesome. I was like, oh man, I should be using this to actually do some things. And I was like, oh, I can, all the ones we're talking about, I need to type them in. But this one I like. It's time to walk into the sun. It's time to tap into your skills and abilities. It's time to shine your light. Step into the sun. Absorb the creativity that will flow from the sun rays. Step into who you really are and meant to be. And I think that goes into the self-awareness. So that one was actually 40. So we talked about 44 and 45, correct? Am I right with
Yeah.
it? Oh, because I'm writing these down, because I'm going to have to do the little banners for these, because I need to do better each week. But yeah, so when someone throws shade, shine sun back. That was number 44. And number 45, if you're always in the shade, you'll never experience the sun. So,
You know what I like about 44?
mhm. Okay, let's talk about
40,
44.
44, it reminds me back when I was in childhood, because my mom was raising three small girls without their dad, even though he was a part of our life. My dad was a part of our life, but for the most part, we were with her. And a lot of people, grown-ups, a lot of times don't pay attention to their words. And sometimes they would say things to each other. The children may be around and they're not thinking how it may affect the children. So a lot of times I would hear adults, whether it was family members or other adults, they would say things like, "There's no telling how they're going to turn out to be," and they're girl children, and they might end up pregnant before their time, and this, that, and the other, And my response was always, "Oh, I'll show you." And it's
Mm-hmm.
because my grandfather that helped raise me and my mom's brothers, they pushed self-awareness on us so much and to know your worth so much that whenever people would say stuff like that to me, I would show them, oh, this is what you think of me? Mm-mm. So, in other words, what I was saying before, the price tag that they were putting on me is not the price
Right.
tag that was actually on me. They were putting a clearance sign on me, but the true value was what I had put on there for myself. So,
Right.
when they were saying that I would never go to college, I am now in doctoral school. When
Mm-hmm.
they were saying I would be pregnant before time, I am now in my 50s and never been a parent. I've been a parent, but I've never biologically gave birth to children. I
Right.
have helped raise children. So I never had children before my time. When they were saying that I would never have a good relationship, I've had good relationships with various types of people, and I am able and I do well in my community. So there's a lot of times, like Dr. Tammy was saying in this, when someone throws shade, shine back, sun back. As
It's a
a
little tongue
child, that's what
twister.
I did. So I hope there's something that people can get from that. You don't always have to, say anything to people. You
Right.
don't, like Medea always said, it's not what people call you, it's what you
It's
answer
the
to.
answer to. Yeah. Yeah. Love that. Love that. Love that. Okay. So I guess it's my turn, huh? I guess I should have been ready. Okay, so going with that, let's see. And I think, we can choose any of them. Um, so I want to, well, I think we already did that one. Did we do number 37 already?
um, yeah, I think we did that last week.
Okay, apparently I love that one.
You can do it again. It might be something different.
So let's see, 34. I don't think we've done 34. Like I'm going between 34 and 30. I don't know. So let's do 30. 30. Here we go. No, seed number 30 is don't run from it. Speak to it. Courage. What are you avoiding? What are you refusing to do, have, say, or be? Just face it head on. Be courageous. Courage increases your confidence. Confidence allows you to move in the direction of more without hesitation or self doubt. Grow through it. And I think that goes with kind of how we started it and all these things we're talking about. We're talking about the obstacles and dealing with negative energy. But then it's also when you encounter something, that may be you may be avoiding because of what you're hearing from others, from what you are assuming they think about you or would say about you, that you may just have to go straight through it, like just go straight to it, speak to it, and courage. And I think that goes with affirmations. And I like to think affirmations, and I am big on affirmations, and whatever follow I am, you are. And so, in using that positive language, and I think that's it. I think, I hear people talking about what they want to do, because I work with college students, first time in college students in their first year, right? So with sometimes they'll say, well, I think I want to be, I'm looking into, when they really, I think we all know what our gifts and talents are, and we know what we want to be. And sometimes you just have to speak to it. I am an international speaker. I am a teacher. I am a lawyer. Whatever it is, speak to it, like claim it and own it. And or if it's something bad, tell it to get out of your way. So either way, so I like this one because it's talking about courage, and I think it goes with the other things that we've talked about today. Um, Yes, Monica says good encouraging words, and then Shine Sun back. Yes, send them some love. And then hey, Nina was with us last week, so if you haven't seen previous episodes, make sure you check those out. So courage.
Yeah, this goes back to everything we were saying, and everything. It seems like there's a common theme here. All these
Without us
seeds.
being intentional, because y'all just saw how I chose that. I just said, well, let's choose this one. I have two that I like today that I'm feeling today. And so it's interesting that she says that like there's this theme, but we really have no theme. It's just,
Yeah,
I think it's just, purposeful. So here we go. Go
yeah,
ahead. Go
it is.
ahead.
Everything directs us back to being self-aware and raising our level of self-awareness, because when you're running from who you really are, that's allowing people to speak things into your life, or you accepting things into your life. And sometimes there are moments where people haven't said anything, but your price tag on you is too low. And if you don't raise your awareness
Woo,
and
whoa, whoa,
understand,
whoa. Wait a minute,
yeah,
wait a minute, wait a minute. When your price tag is too, wait, I'm sorry, I had to just pause
yeah,
on that. Like, whoa, there's a moment, pause. Entrepreneurs, take that in. All right. I'm
yes,
sorry, go ahead. I'm
yeah.
sorry, I didn't mean
And
to. She was talking about self awareness.
yeah, I'm glad you said entrepreneurs, because the last couple of years I have been pricing myself way too low as a business owner and as a business woman and as a Black business woman. I have been scoping and looking at other price tags and comparing with other price tags instead of spending time with myself. When this pandemic hit, I'm telling you, in one retrospect, for me, it was a blessing,
Yeah.
because it allowed me the time and the space to actually look at my value and really appreciate it for what it is, because now the price tag is way higher than that. My price tag is not low. My price tag does not say thrifty. It says we have some worth. We have a lot of worth. It is not thrifty. You will
Yeah.
not see this at the Salvation Army thrift store or the village. It just no. It has a lot of work to it. So yeah, and to when you realize that, there's a tenacity that comes upon you with that, and you grip it and you're able to run with it. You're no longer, it puts you in the place of no longer being able to run from it. You speak into it, and you are saying to the other person, hey, this is what this worth. Are you with me or not? If you're not with me, okay, next. You don't worry about, well, let's see what we can work out. You don't do those things. You don't. And a lot of times with business owners, especially women, we tend to do that. But after, like I said, this pandemic has taught me, no, we're not about to do that no more, sis. No, your
No.
price tag is better than
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and I that's been something, I finally been doing that. And I've been, I think part of it, I've always known it, but the thing is to verbalize it and really set boundaries and be okay if someone says, not you're not for me. I can't
Right.
afford that. And so I finally had to be okay with that and just say, this is it. And these are the options, you know, these are your options, and go with it. And then let the person choose. They know they know their wallet better than I can, but I know what I'm worth. And I even got a speaking request, and even for virtual events, I'm starting to, so I have that pricing set up. And I finally, and it was, it was someone, and when it's someone, or someone that, or an organization that you have a heart for, you want a tendency to pull back, and you finally just got to say, look, this is it. So, and
Mhm.
all that takes courage. All that takes courage, and
Yes.
that's what I think this time has really done for me, is created a space for me to be more courageous in how I set boundaries and limits to
Mhm.
some things. So yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. All right. Keeping it moving. So for those of you who are just joining us, we are discussing Reap More 76 Seeds for this season. And Elegant Granny and I are discussing the first 47 seeds. And we're kind of going back and forth within the 47 seeds. So if you have the book, you can join us in discussing and looking at it and maybe even writing some things down. The way the book is set up is really cool because it gives you the space to write some things down. So there's actually space to write. And so you can, as we're going through this, and we're just asking those who are reading with us for these first 76 days of the year to take 10 to 15 minutes a day for yourself and invest in your self-care by reading with us. Read one a day and then just take some time to reflect and put an action step behind that. I'm all big on action. So reflect and see what is it, what is the next step for you? What is that task or thing you need to do to make sure that you do that? And we have shared several today. We have shared surrender to the moment right now, whatever that moment is, and just slow down and pause. Sometimes you have to do that. I'm going to go in order they are in the book. So if you have the book, you can mark them. We've just finished talking about don't run from it, speak to it, courage. So we just talked about that one. We've also talked about when someone throws shade, shine sun back. Yeah, anybody know I love metaphors, so that's all through this book. His analogies and metaphors. Um, and so if you are always in the shade, you never experience the sun. 45 is if you are always in the shade, you never experience the sun. So get out in the sun. Come to the light and do that thing that you're meant to do. So that is what we've discussed, and we're gonna keep going. We're going to do so. That was 4. We usually try to do about 5 or 6. So we'll do at least one more. And so, Trifania, do you have one in particular you marked? I know you came prepared. She came armed and ready for today. And so I want to make sure that I allow her enough space so we can discuss these. Can discuss
um,
her list.
Number 47
Okay.
is the one I want to discuss. And it
Ooh.
goes back
Oh my
to,
goodness, it goes great with the one that I randomly just chose. Okay. I love it.
yes, it
Okay, go
does.
ahead.
It does.
All right.
That's the reason why I wanted to bring it up. That's the reason why I wanted to bring it up
And
because I
everybody's probably
started
wondering,
to
what
do
is 47? What is 47?
mhm.
All right, go
And
ahead.
47 is discover your bravery in the midst of your battle. Discover your bravery in the midst of your battle. And there's a little section that I want to read. I'm not going to read the whole thing because you need to get the book. And it says, it is during the times when life hits the hardest that you discover your bravery. The courageous aspect of you comes to the surface. That's the part I want to focus on. The courageous aspect of you during your battle comes to surface. So even when life hits hard, remember to continue to reflect and take notice that the best of you, of who you are, is even more present than before. A lot of times when you're going through things, a lot of people, you hear people say, when you found yourself, or when you lost yourself, such and such and such. And that applies a lot to people who go through abusive relationships.
Oh.
And it's not so much that someone loses themselves, it's that when you in battle, sometimes you get tired and your strength gets less and less because you've been battling so long. And sometimes you need something that's going to fuel you, to feed you, to give you quench your thirst, and to help you. So when that happens, and to give you rest and give you peace so that you can rest. So after that little rest period, you're able to get back up and handle whatever that battle is and overcome it. Now, being that I was talking about abusive relationships, as I was attempting to get out of a abusive relationship, and I had to discover the bravery that was in the middle of my battle, and the bravery, the act, because bravery is just not just a word, it's an action word.
Mm.
And it's an action word. And what I had to do was be, where it says the courageous aspect of you comes to the surface. That part of me, when I showed up for everyone else, when they were going through something, it was time for me to be brave enough to do that for me too. I am very good and strategic with planning. Like Dr. Tammy says, she plans a lot. I had to do the same thing with me. When it comes to getting out of an abusive relationship, you have to strategically plan, because what people fail to realize when they just say, oh, you just need to leave, and you probably just want to just be there, because if you really want to be there, get out, you can get out. No, that's not always the case, because each case is different. This is something I always say. Each case is different. You never
Mhm.
know what it is they're dealing with behind closed doors. There's something my mom taught me a long time ago as a teenager. Behind every closed door, there's a different story. So you
Right.
don't know how it is for that person. Just because their abusers show up as the charmer that you know them to be does not mean that's who they are behind closed doors. So a lot of times you have to show up for yourself, do what it takes. And it's not just always the act of getting up and running out. Sometimes, for me, let me tell you what it was for me. For me, it was journaling and processing everything so I can have clarity about what was going on, what I needed to change, and how I needed to change so I can be safe. Those are the three things I needed to do while I was journaling. And once I did that, I was able to pick the right time to pick up and leave. And not only pick up and leave, but move things in the direction of me being free. Sometimes that's your act of bravery, not just I'm running away. Sometimes it's the act of what it is you need to do so you can have all of this, especially this right here, straight and clear. So when you get out on the other side, you can think straight and you are more ready to handle what is going on. Because what happens with a lot of people is they don't prepare before they leave. And so once they get out, a lot of them end up going back. And that's not what we want. So if you hear me and you're one of those people, think strategically. Think, if it's not safe for you to journal, have a conversation with yourself. Have a conversation with yourself. That in itself is an act of bravery. Having a conversation with yourself. What is and think about what is the price tag that you have on yourself, not what the other people are saying about you. What is the price tag? That if you don't see the price tag as being that valuable, say to myself, this is what I want the price tag that I have that I have on myself. This is what I wanted to say. I no longer wanted to say 10 cents. I wanted to say $10 million. That's what I wanted to say. That when you start there, that will help you with the act of bravery of continue thinking on the next thing that you need to happen.
Yes. And so there we are. We are discussing, look, I put these in order, so now I got to remember which one. So we are talking about 47, discover your bravery in the midst of your battle. So, as you were talking, I was like, oh, there's several of these that I want to I want to address now. So, but just to finish this one, I think that that's one of the things that we got to remember. And I think this past year, and it's almost a year, come, with a couple of more weeks, it'll be probably to the day that the world, quote unquote, shut down. But,
Mm-hmm.
during this last year, I think if nothing else if you are still here and you're listening to the sound of our voices, then you know that you have what it takes to keep going because you're still here, you're still moving. And some of the people listening to us may have experienced illness or death and loss during this time. And if you are still here, if you are still with us, if you are still breathing, alive, and well enough to be on social media to catch this broadcast,
Mm-hmm.
that tells you that you have done amazing and discovering your bravery in the midst of your battle. I think there's been this global thing going on, but then in our personal lives, we've experienced something. And I think it's good just to remind yourself, like, you got this. And so I think it's also good, we talk about celebrating your wins and that sort of thing, but celebrate when you've been brave. And so I like some of the questions with this one that's attached to this one. Have you been brave this week? When was the last time you were courageous? And really answer those, because y'all may think, okay, yeah. But really think about that, because I think we don't give ourselves enough credit. And therefore, we focus on the battle part of it, but not how it has positively impacted our life. And so, what situation did you surprise yourself with how well you handled it? Have you reflected and noted your courage in the midst of the storm? And that's what I just encourage everyone to do as we look at this particular seed. But this seed kind of reminded me of number 20 when you were talking about it, because you were talking about planning, you were talking about, the past and what you've been through. And we may have talked about 20 before, but it just reminded me of number 20, seed number 20. And we're reading from REAPMORE if you're just joining us, 76 seeds for this season. And seed number 20 is everything you have been through has led you to this moment. Be intentional. You're exactly where you're meant to be at this point in your life. So get into position, accept the challenge. When you are where you are right now, it is with intention you are there, here. Now it's time for you to be intentional about the steps you take and the decisions you make. Remain in a state of expectancy. Something amazing is about to happen. Don't sleep on it. Don't give up. Get ready. Be ready. Stay ready. And I think that is it. Basically, that's kind of sums up what you were just mentioning, about what are those next steps? What is your plan? What is the action behind what it is that you do in the midst of that bravery? So when you were talking, I just thought about this. And, there is one in here, number 41 as well, that talks about living on purpose and planning and purpose planning. But I thought, yeah, this one, is talking about, know that everything you've been through has led you to this moment, and you have everything that you need right inside of you. So just keep going, be intentional. So anyway, I just thought about that when you were talking. So I thought I'm just gonna add that one, add a bonus. Actually, I added two because I added 41, but add a bonus. So
that was a good one to add. That was a good, because everything that is true, everything you've been through has led you to this moment. So be intentional. That's the reason why I said think, because without that clarity, it's hard. It makes it harder without that clarity. And in order to be intentional, you have to slow down in that moment, during that time when it's quiet in the house and you're still afraid of what could happen, or something that that is on the way to happen.
Yeah.
Think about what it would be like if you said, okay, today my price tag is not 10 cents, it's going to be $20. Okay, and then tomorrow my price tag is going to be $40. Next week, and by the end of the week, my price tag on myself is going to be $200. And you keep raising it and keep raising it. What happens during those moments when you're raising it up, you're thinking a lot more clearer. You're able to strategize a lot more. And it's not just with dealing with abusive relationships. It's dealing with anything in life, anything where you don't have a great value on yourself, or someone else, you're living under someone else's control, where the value, how they treat you, is way beyond clearance section. You're able to think clearer and flip that price tag on the other side, where the clearance stamp is not, and the true value of who you really are is on that side.
Right.
So that's the reason why I say get the book because these seeds are valuable. And if you know someone else who needs this book, get the book for them. You may say, well, that's not for me, but you may know someone in your life who could really use these seeds. Gift
Share the
it to them.
love.
You never know how you may be the instrument by just getting that book for them. You never know. You never know how that may help them to raise the price tag on themselves. And you allowed yourself to be that very instrument that was able to help turn them and get them off that clearance rack and onto the front of the store where the most valuable things are.
Yes, and when you were saying that, I thought about acknowledgement. Because when we're talking about raising the price tag, was when it's really about you establishing and understanding and recognizing, acknowledging your
Mm-hmm.
worth.
Yes.
And to when as you raise the price, usually what we always do is because even if this is just this is a metaphor for the value, how to value yourself. But when we are buying things, when we look at the price, we always try to justify it. And so if you apply that same principle to yourself, each time you
Mm-hmm.
raise the price and you say this is my price today, then that allows you to do the same thing with yourself. Is think about it, to acknowledge the good, the value you add to the
Mm-hmm.
world, the people you come in contact, whatever it is you do. And I think that is something that we don't do. And we don't
Mm-hmm.
acknowledge our value. We
Right.
don't accept that we are valuable. And I think those are come in those moments when we are really, when we talked about before, in the battle. When you're in the battle, you tend to forget some of the good. You
Mm-hmm.
forget that because you're trying to just survive and make it through. But
Mm-hmm.
if you take that opportunity to place that value and say, okay, if it's $200, then that your mind just instinctively goes to, oh, I know this, I do this, I'm good at this, this is what I like. This
Yeah.
is how I made somebody smile today. This is when someone was mean, I shine sun back. Now, I'm not one of those that say turn the other cheek. So if you hit me, I may hit you back. But what I am saying is that when you feel that negative energy, that you share love. And sometimes it's through a smile, sometimes it's through a nod. These days we do the nod, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't really smile with mask on. So sometimes you just have to do the nod and then smile with your eyes. And so you kind of just, we do the nod and acknowledge people. And, the acknowledgement of self, but also the acknowledgement of others, does wonders. So I really like that you mentioned that. That's what I got from that when I thought about doing it. I said, oh, that'd be a good exercise for us to do. It's just to
Mm-hmm.
do that. And then next to that value, what does that represent to you? Because that
Mm-hmm.
tells you. And then when you get up at the higher prices, when you get into with the zeros, now, now you're really seeing what others see in you, or what they don't see in you, or what you should definitely be seeing in yourself. Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
goodness. So we have been on here already 50 minutes. Oh my goodness. And it just seems like we haven't. We're just getting started. We're just
It
getting started.
doesn't
So
seem like it.
no, not at all. It's gone by fast. So I guess what we'll do is final thoughts, even if it hinges on adding another seed. But your final thoughts, and then of course how folks can connect with you, um, and that way we can keep the conversation going. And maybe they want to join the conversation live, or maybe they want to connect with you offline. So yes, final words, and then how we can connect with you.
My final thoughts on today is, like I said, even though there was no planned theme or and there's none written in the book, the theme, everything to me relates to self-awareness and raising your vibrations, your frequency by spending more time with you, getting to know you, because we love spending time with other people in our lives that we deem as important to us, but we don't take that moment to spend that much time with ourselves. And in order for us to have better defenses for people who overstep our boundaries that we have set, if we have set them, because when you become aware and you more self-aware, you tend to have more boundaries and you tend to enforce those boundaries that you set. It's not just enough to have boundaries, but enforce the boundaries that you have set so that people can recognize the value that you are worth. And so that you can understand, hey, I am worth this. I've spent enough time and invested enough time with myself. I know what I'm worth. And I need people in my life who are going to respect what I'm worth. Whether they invest in me or not, they respect it. They don't have to invest in me, but it is important that they respect it. So those are my final thoughts on that. And you can reach me in my link tree, Elegant Granny. You can reach me there. And you can also email me at yourgrannyforever at gmail.com. And that's yourgrannyforever@gmail.com.
I like
If you
that.
would like to, yeah, if you would like to reach me.
And I don't have that on a banner, y'all, so y'all just gonna have to make sure you pay attention. But reach out to her on her handle, and you can always get it. You know, you can catch with her. There's her social media handle. Catch up with her, so that way you can get the email if you need to email her directly if you missed that, or just go back and rewind. You know, on the replay. We're here. Watch this a couple of times. Share with some friends. All that good stuff. Share on your social media. We would love it if you do that, and get the community involved. So thank you, Elegant Granny. Thank you for being
You're
here. I appreciate
welcome.
you. A great discussion on another day. A great discussion. I'm telling
Yeah.
you, like, oh man, and the time just goes by. So, and this has been a treat, because I always like other people's perspective, and that's one of the reasons we read books. And I always try to get people to come live either with me or on their own about the books, is because we get different perspectives. And we are reading for the first 76 days of 2021. Reap More, 76 seeds for this season. And we really would hope that you would join us in reading. So we are reading one seed a day and taking about 10 minutes to ourselves to just reflect. And let me just tell you, these seeds have been helping me. And I know they'll help you, or they've been designed to help you. So I'm hoping you'll pick up a copy and read with us. You can get a copy on my website, drtammyfrancis.com, or you can go over to any online book distributor, Amazon, and get your copy there. It comes in paperback and ebook if you order from an online book distributor. If you order from our website, the paperback is available there. So I'm hoping that you will join us in reading and join me live, whether you join me live in the comments or you join me live on camera. I'll take it. Hint, hint. So you can join me, and I'd appreciate that. Join us. That would be great, because it's always good to get other people's perspective. And, part of this more movement is to get other people to manifest more and reap more as they move in the direction of more. So have y'all figured out something about me? For some reason, there's this more in the background. So, foreground really, of what I do, and it's really the foundation of what I do, and it's really getting you to think about what's next. So if you want to join our online community, you can text me, text Catalyst to my number right there that comes to my phone, 888-413-3681. Text Catalyst there. I also do weekly encouragements where I share a quote with our community via text message, and I do that every week. And you can join that by texting Reap More to the same number, and that way I'll add you to that list, and then you'll get that every week. And yeah, so I hope that you will join us in reading. So for the last time, we're reading Reap More. 76 seats for this season. I hope you'll join us. We'll be back next week. We have our discussions on Friday. The time varies based on the availability of myself and others, whoever's coming live with me. And so just watch my social media. On my social media, I typically will tell you exactly what time that we'll be on, at least 24 hours, about 24 hours before, or before that time hits. So that way you can make sure you go to any of my pages on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can find out what time we're coming live and join us in discussions, whether it's in the comments or on the screen. You can always inbox me if you want to join us on the screen and share your thoughts. Be sure you say hello in the comments. If you haven't done so already, be sure you share this out to someone who could use it and needed to hear what we talked about today. And if there's anything that you need, you can always go from me. Go to drtammyfrancis.com. I hope to see you all next week. Y'all take care. We'll see you soon. Bye bye.